plan. The healthcare insurance company comes in. This type of plan helps pay some of what Medicare doesn't. And these are the only plans to carry the AARP endorsement. That's because they meet their high standard and service. Want to learn more? It's easy. Call United.
What was that?
Now and ask for this free decision.
I have no idea.
That was weird. And it's showing, and I'm seeing it's still recording.
It just stopped.
Back.
Okay.
All the
we'll-
attendees are back too, so you should be good.
Yeah, how did the attendees like not get booted? We did. Let me see if Jack is stuck somewhere. Am I? Oh, I am. I'm host too.
Yeah, you are host. I made you host. That's
No,
why I didn't think I was going to be able to get back in because up this Jack.
Yeah. I just brought Jason back on. And Charlene, we are recording. I show it here, but just want to confirm.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's just wait one more minute for Brad.
Oh, I see him. Hold on. Oh, I hit the wrong button.
That was fun and exciting.
So you know what? I got to move Brad back for a second. Brad, are you there?
See Brad, I don't see any sort of indication about his audio status.
I just hit the unmute, so.
Oh,
Oh,
wait,
there you are. We have no video though. Oh, there you are.
It's better without my video.
No.
I look much better that way. You realize, of course, if we're going to do this, I'm going to have to get my grandchildren here to talk me through it.
Okay. All right. Now I think we're all back, and I see a fair number.
So Brad, you talk about conspiracy theories. I think that's like I ask a question, then the whole show goes to.
I know. And I said I was just going to mute you, Michael.
Okay. So when last we left, Jason was outlining the proposed potential hours of operation: 12 to 3 Wednesday through Sunday for lunch, and then 5 to 7:30 Friday and Saturday evening, being off the common by 8 o'clock on those nights. Weather dependent, would not be every day of the week, would not be a consistent thing. It's sort of a pop-up area. Any other questions from the board?
Jason, I know you've been there a couple times. I know that we asked for you guys to help to make sure that the common was clean afterwards. Has that been an issue?
No, to be honest, most people are taking their food and going right in their car and driving away.
Okay. Well, that's too bad because I would hope that they'd, use that nice open space area and sit there on the benches and have some food.
I agree.
Jason, how's the reception been?
So we got a little pushback on the first day just because it's kind of new. I think everything's been pretty much smoothed over, but yeah, the crowds are receptive. I mean, we definitely have our favorites. They'll come to us anywhere, but we definitely had a lot newer people the first day that we were open, and even yesterday. Yeah, it's definitely going good on my book.
There are very few things that we make decisions on that we get praised about, and this was one of them. Several people reached out to me and said, "Good call on putting a fork and bib there." So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I can't thank you guys enough. Going back to the winter, I don't think we'll be in operation past December. Usually, if the roads have any ice or any snow on it, I don't take the truck out. It's too heavy, too much to lose for bad roads. So I think the last couple of years we were done by December 1st.
Any other questions before I open up to the audience?
Mike, was there any concerns? Have you heard of any concerns at all, or anything that we should just be aware of? Mike, sorry.
Yep, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yep, I have heard from a resident that lives down near the town common, is on the historical historical commission, historical district commission, and she was expressing a concern about that being in the historical district.
Yeah, and I think we as a group discussed a lot of that before and didn't think this was a permanent fixture, so it would be a nice addition to that common area. But I would open up, obviously, other feedback from other members.
Yes, thanks for bringing this up, Mike. So she had sent over some materials earlier today, and as I had read through it, like Michael said, it seems that the majority of this is relating to altering or building in a historic district area. I don't see any applicability for a food truck or any other type of usage restrictions in this area. Is that your understanding as well?
Yeah. I'll let you answer that, Mike, if you want.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't see any. I mean, personally, I didn't see it. You know what I always love is dedication to the historic district, because they're trying to preserve something that is a beautiful area. So, but I thought this, as we discussed, this was a nice addition that isn't permanently fixed. The rules that I read, this fell within that.
Okay. So, Mr. Town Manager, are there any usage restrictions per the charter or whatever, what have you, of the Historical District Commission?
Mr. Chairman, just reading the information I got today, I didn't see that. You know, we did get that late, so we haven't had that much time to go through the whole, all the information on the Historic District Commission, but I will continue to review it. But I agree with what Michael Toole said. It seems like it's more for construction, renovations, additions.
Yeah, permanent area. I would agree with that. Okay. Opening up to any questions or comments from the audience. Just raise your hand through the chat feature. All right, we have Peter. Renee, can you allow him to speak?
Yep, Peter, you should be able to mute your phone. Here you are.
That's right. I like that idea of a food truck at the common, and I can eat my meal and relax on the common, have my meal, take some photos of the truck and take some videos. And it's a perfect set-in for a food truck. It's a Norton Common, and it is good business. So kudos to Mr. Dahl for putting together a good job.
Thank you very much, Peter. Seeing no other hands or questions in the chat, Chair would entertain a motion to approve the common vic license and mobile food truck permit for Fork and Bib to cover the hours as discussed, 12 to 3 Wednesday through Sunday, 5 to 7:30 p.m. Friday and Saturday.
So moved.
Oh, second. Jack, can we just amend that just for Friday, Saturday, 5 to 8 p.m. because he just mentioned they'll be off the common by 8, so that so they have time to wrap up.
Yep, absolutely.
Good call, Renee.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Meg?
Yes, sorry.
Michael?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Renee?
Yes.
I too vote yes enthusiastically. Congratulations, Mr. Dahl. Thank you for bringing your food truck to town.
Thank you so much.
New business or any announcements? Sorry, I skipped it. I don't see any in the packet.
I didn't see any.
Yeah, we received a package from Jen with, I think, 3 different announcements in it. Let's see.
Okay.
You want me to read a couple of them?
If you have them.
I don't
Yeah,
have.
I've got them in front. I actually printed them.
All right, take it away.
From the Parks and Recreation, let's see. They're asking people to bring your scarecrow to the town common on October 18th between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.
Are they having a contest, Brad, or did you cut out there?
Families, groups, and businesses to create a scary. I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, you cut out there. I apologize.
It's this whole thing. Everybody speaking to me comes and goes. Where was I? You bring your scarecrow to the town common between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. on October 18th. All scarecrows will be on display from October 18th until October 31st. Prizes will be awarded to the top 3 vote getters. Thank you to Above and Beyond Elevator and the Norton Moms Club for their generous support in making this event happen. And they have, if anyone's interested, I assume you can get on the town website. They have a like an application form that they would fill out so they'll know who belongs to what scarecrow. Let me see what else we have here.
So, more importantly, Mr. Chairman, are the select board going to have a scarecrow in this race, or?
I mean,
I figured we just stick down there and hang you up on it, Mike.
Yeah, well, that probably. I'm pretty sure that would scare all the crows away.
Okay. I have another one here. A Royal Fall Festival that with the Snow Sisters. Saturday, October 3rd, 11 a.m. at the Library Park at 68 East Main Street, Norton, Mass.
I can read more of that, Brad?
Everyone's favorite, because I'm having a tough time reading this.
Would you like me to read it?
Join it. I'm sorry, Mike.
Do you want me to read it?
If you got it, yeah. I'm having a very difficult time with the orange on white.
So the Norton Parks and Rec and Starlight Events present a Royal Fall Festival with the Snow Sisters. Saturday, October 3rd, 11 a.m., the Library Park at 668 East Main Street. Join everyone's favorite frozen sisters for an afternoon filled with music, stories, and fun. Due to COVID restrictions, social distancing will be enforced between the parties, and proper face coverings must be worn throughout the event. Seating will not be provided, so be sure to bring your own chairs and blankets for the lawn. Tickets are $15 per household and must be purchased in advance. Due to guidelines, tickets are limited and you must provide an accurate head count when ordering. If you are interested, please email starlight, all one word, .events@outlook.com for ticket information. And again, that's starlight.events@outlook.com. And this is hosted through Norton Parks and Rec.
other announcements?
Yeah, there's one more, Brad, and I want me to take this one too, Brad?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. The Norton Parks and Rec and Life Church are hosting the second annual Norton Halloween Festival on October 31st from 9 to 5 p.m. And we need your help. Despite COVID restrictions, we are moving forward with our Halloween festival. Although we have made some adjustments, we are looking for individual families, organizations, and businesses to create and host displays at a walkthrough Halloween event on the field at Life Church. How it works is Halloween themed displays will be set up in rows on the field. Displays can include decoration, vehicles done to look up spooky animatronics, people in costumes, and more. We are socially distancing each display, and each row will be roped off so guests will look but not touch. Visitors will be given admission times to control the numbers of people in attendance at all times. Unfortunately, nothing including candy can be given away at the displays. This event is strictly a feast for the eyes and ears. I hope you will join us. I'm sorry, I apologize. I realize my eyes are going. I hope you will join us and help make Halloween 2020 a little nicer for Norton's children. Reserve your space now by returning a form which can be found at Norton Parks and Rec. Just call Norton Parks Rec at 508-285-0226 to reserve a space by October 8th. There was a lot there, so I apologize.
All right. Bit of announcements. Anyone else have any other individual announcements they'd like to make at this time?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, fine.
I just wanted to announce that the Water and Sewer Department is going to start water main flushing next week. They won't be doing it as aggressive a program as they've done in the past because of the drought situation, but they will be flushing the main lines. And they'll be doing it at night, 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. And each day they'll update the town website with the flushing locations and areas most likely to be affected.
Excellent. And if people are experiencing discolored water, do you have the number handy?
Yep, I do. So anyone with questions, comments, or should call the Water Department office. They can call 508-285-0280, or they can call the superintendent at 508-285-0282.
Mike, does the water, and this question is for the town manager, Mike, are there instructions that people should be doing after they've drained the pipes in the area, like running the water for so many minutes? Has there been those instructions given to the public before?
I think it's been given before. I'll check with the Water and Sewer and make sure they have that up on their website.
I think it's important because when people, we all get shocked when we see it and the water comes out, right out of the gate, the water's going to come out brown. I can guarantee you this. If they drain the pipes, if they drain the hydrants and you're close to that hydrant, your water is going brown. So we need to find procedures that people
And people should call if they do see rusty water, so they know as they're flushing what areas need to be addressed.
Yep. And just I had a conversation with Mr. Units as well. In our next meeting, I'm open to have a discussion with the water board and just to kind of continue some of the conversations about access to some water in town as well.
Before we move on, Mike, do you want to say anything about the SAFER grants that were announced today? Or is that coming up later on?
Say that again, Jack.
The SAFER grants that were announced today for the fire department?
Yep, I haven't seen the documentation yet, but I know that Norton has been awarded over $1 million in SAFER grant for the fire department. And that'll be used to cover the cost of hiring 4 firefighters over the next 3 years. So it would cover all wages and benefits.
So kudos to Chief Simmons and his deputies and all his other command staff over at Norton Fire for working so hard to get that. $1 million the town doesn't need to fund for additional staffing. Really great news.
Just as a feedback, this is great for Chief Simmons. I did get some residents' comments asking if the grant could be considered for Chartley. I knew that they were going to do it for the individuals that were being hired, but I just wanted to make note that those comments came to me.
And Mr. Chairman, I'm meeting with the fire chief on Monday to go over the grant, so we'll get back to you with details after that.
Okay. So and I think this is 4 additional firefighters over the 3 open head count that they currently have and have been recruited for.
Yeah, I'll review that.
Okay. Excellent. Any other announcements? Seeing none, let's move on to new business. We have a 2013 Dodge Charger to declare surplus.
Yeah, this is the police department is asking that a 2013 Dodge Charger be declared surplus, and then Keith Silva will sell that on municipal bid.
Okay. Any questions from the board before we move this? Seeing none, Chair would entertain a motion to declare the 2013 Dodge Charger serial number 2C3COX AT2722367 as surplus to be sold at municipal bid.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Mike?
Yes.
I didn't hear you, Mike. Yes.
Yes.
Michael, yes. Brad?
Yes.
Renee?
Yes.
I too vote yes. Who else is missing in-person meetings tonight? The technology and the delays.
Mr. Town Manager, what happens to that? What happens to the, I mean, it's going to be small money, but I'm just out of curiosity, what happens to that cash?
That cash would go into the general fund.
Next up, discussion and or vote on Elm Island's TIF agreement amendments.
Mr. Chairman?
Take it away.
As you know, we have a local initiative tax increment financing agreement with Elm Island Pharmaceuticals. It's the company, it's been great for us, what the company has done in Norton. And Elm Island, to their credit, wants to come forward because they want to amend the TIF and amend the hiring numbers because they don't feel they're going to be able to meet that target. And tonight we have representatives from Elm Island that would like to explain the situation to you. Brian Cohen is a consultant with Elm Island and would like to speak first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of Select Board. Thanks for allowing us to speak with you tonight. I'm joined here, I'm from CBRE, and I consult with Elm Island. I'm joined by Al Boyle, Corey Siddons, and Rob Philidoro of Elm Island. In 2015, the town and Elm Island Pharmaceuticals entered into a TIF agreement, a tax increment financing agreement, under which Elm Island was to build its manufacturing operation in the town and invest and create jobs. And in exchange, the town would offset an incremental or a certain pre-negotiated amount of the tax from the incremental value added to the tax base. So that TIF was set to start at the certificate of occupancy for the building, which was achieved in fall of 2019. So it will be the fiscal year after certificate of occupancy, which started July 1. So that's the official start of the TIF. So we thought it was important to come in front of you now because some of the facts have changed since we all made our estimates and entered into this. And I'll just kind of give you directionally what those changes are. Al Boyle will then give you a bit of a refresher on the company, and we can talk about what we're here to ask if you would be willing to agree to do. So the job creation numbers, Alnylam has not hit the 150 jobs that it expected it might. There are investment estimates of $100 to $150 million, which Alnylam has far exceeded. So the jobs were below, the investment was well above. The tax assessment that was anticipated at the time of the TIF was about $54 million for the completed building. So the building is not yet fully assessed and it's already at $70 million. So from a tax-based standpoint, the building has far exceeded what was projected. From a job creation standpoint, the company has not created the jobs yet that it had hoped it would. So we thought it made sense to have the discussion with you now that the TIF has started and see if together you would be open to amending this with us so that we could sort of replace the job investment facts with the estimates that were put in place in 2015. With that, I'd like to turn it to Al Boyle with Alnylam to give you a brief reintroduction for some of you, I think, to the company, and for a few others, I think it will be could be an introduction. Al?
Thanks, Brian. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having us. I really appreciate it. Al Boyle, as Brian indicated. I'm with Alnylam Pharmaceuticals. My title is Senior Vice President of Technical Operations and Quality. So it's myself and the team are accountable for not only building the facility, but then also operating it. And the person in charge of the facility itself is our Senior Director of Manufacturing, that's Corey Seidens, who's on the phone as well with us. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I thought it would be a good idea to remind everyone, and if you haven't heard of us as a company, and I had some slides, but from a technology basis, I think I can do this with just words if we don't want to challenge ourselves. So we're based in Cambridge, right? We are a Commonwealth company. We're 17 years old, but we have 25 sites across 20 countries, okay? And we're at about a little over 1,300 employees worldwide, okay? And we really have our whole, we have a mission, vision, values. It's really centered around a technology called small interfering RNA. And it was a Nobel-winning technology that we've utilized to be able to develop solutions to patients that are in need. And currently, we have 2 commercial drugs. That's Onpattro and Givlaari. These were approved in 2018 and 2019, respectively. Onpattro has been approved in the United States, the European Union, Japan, Brazil, and Canada, while Givlaari is approved in US, EU, and Brazil. And this investment in our pipeline, these are our first 2. In the next coming years, we expect to have another approval, fingers crossed, shortly this year for lumasiran, and then vutrisiran, which is a follow-on molecule in 2021. Behind that, we have a plan to develop 2 to 4 new drug candidates per year over the next 10 years based on our pipeline. And that's why Norton exists, folks, just for that. Based on that success and what we anticipate to be able to deliver for patients, we felt the need to invest in our own manufacturing facility. Right now, we utilize external sites in other states and in other countries to make drug substance. And so we invested and selected Norton, and we cannot be happier with the relationship we've had with the town so far. And it's really helped us focus on our mission of serving patients. I have a couple of pictures, but again, I'd say go down to Commerce and please drive by and have a look of it. It's a wonderful progress. And if there are any questions about it specifically, I'll ask that Corey chime in. But that's where we're at. And I think it's as simple as we're a pharmaceutical company. We've had the development of our pipeline. We've had success with 2 commercial drugs, but we've also had disappointments with a drug called Revusiran, where we had a phase 3 trial be stopped. We had a slowdown in one of our trials with Fitusiran, a partner product. And what that's caused is a change in trajectory of the program. Not our commitment to Norton, but it's just at our rate of hiring. What it also has driven us to do is invest more money in the facility, and it's really just altered our rate at which we've hired folks. So I think that gives you the backdrop of who we are, a little bit about the project as well. So Brian, maybe I can bring it back to you, and we can talk a little bit more about what the TIF started with and what we'd like folks to consider.
Great. So the TIF itself has a number of 150 jobs at target. The company now believes it can get to 125 jobs by the end of 2025. Today, it has 68, or as of the end of August, when we measured it, they had 68 employees in Norton. So the ask on the jobs front is to decrease the commitment in the TIF from 150 to 125. From an investment standpoint, the original commitment was 100 to 150 million. The company's investment has exceeded 250 million, so well above their projections. As you can see, it's kind of hard to call all of this, 5 years before it's in the ground. But so the investment far exceeded expectations. As I mentioned before, that's led to a pretty significant increase in assessed value from what we all thought going into this and what was estimated in the TIF valuation. So the real request is that we revise the job creation number from 25 jobs, and we revise the actual investment to date, which could increase potentially in the future. But we know we're at least at 250, which is far above the 100 to 150. So we would suggest that we revise that at the same time. And that's the request of the board. Happy to answer any questions.
I'm sorry, Jack, can you just repeat that last section that you said? It just cut out for me.
Sure. The job creation, we would request goes from 150 to 125. Investment, we figured we should document at 250 plus, over 250 million versus 100 to 150 million, because that's sort of the reality that we have invested in the ground, which is translated into a higher tax receipts from the building than you all anticipated, or the company with the TIF. And the real reason, as we start the TIF now, it just seems like it would make sense to document this and have it approved state in its actual numbers, because investment was higher and because job creation was lower, so that there's transparency to it for both the town and the company, and the state has it on record. So that's the reason for the request.
Jack, we can't hear you. We see you talking, but
Sorry.
there you go.
All right. I don't know where the microphone is on this damn thing. Open up to the board for any questions.
Mr. Town Manager, does this need to be approved by the state? Any adjustments on the TIF?
This is a local initiative TIF, so it needs to be approved by town meeting, not the state.
Okay.
And it would ultimately, if the process would be, you're correct, would go to town meeting, and if town meeting approved it, the state would,
Have to sign off on it.
they would hear it at their December ACC, Economic Assistance Coordinating Council meeting, and they would vote on it, but they defer to the town in its decision because it's a town issue.
Right.
So what
And-
the the 2025 for the job creation, has that always been the year that we were targeting, the 150 at 2025?
So the original building was supposed to have come out of the ground sooner, but was delayed. I will tell you, TIF does not have a date for the job creation. There was an application that went to the state alongside the TIF with years in it, which contemplated, at the time, we thought the project was going to be occupied year end 17, I believe, late 17, with jobs completed by end of 2020. But that is not in the TIF, but it was discussed with the state.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Brad and Mr. Units, do we? I know that we've pulled TIFs back. Do we have a history of modification of TIFs that I know of the one or two that we've pulled back, but modification, do we have any history or from that?
I don't, not since I've been here, we haven't modified a TIF. I don't know if Brad has any.
I don't recall any modification, but that doesn't mean, personally, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't consider it, especially where we're not really abandoning it. We're shifting the responsibility from one thing, the number of employees, to the amount of money invested. So to me, I mean, I'm not an accountant, but to me, it sounds like it's a net balance, but I could be wrong. And I'm sure Mr. Eunice will tell me when I'm wrong.
Mike, did you send us the initial TIF?
I don't know if I did.
I don't recall seeing that.
Okay.
So, town manager, is there any financial impact associated with changing the terms of the TIF, or is this just changing agreement?
There's no financial impact as far as the town's concerned. It would just be net 25 jobs less, but you know, those jobs aren't all guaranteed to be Norton residents. So in as Brian said, the value of the TIF is extremely higher than originally anticipated. So as far as revenue to the town, there's no impact to lowering the employment numbers.
So, Mike, I know we recently discussed in EDC meeting about the TIF process and coming before the EDC first for recommendation, and then the board, and then the finance committee. Is there a reason why this process wouldn't follow that same path?
No. Brian could also present. When does the EDC meet again?
We meet on the 23rd, but the agenda is pretty packed. What's our timeline for this? Okay, to get things for them to the state.
Well, the timeline we're going by is for our town meeting, so the October town meeting. So the last finance committee meeting will probably be around October 5th, hopefully.
Okay, had we added this into, is the warrant still open?
It's in the warrant.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Renee, do you think the EDC should take 15 minutes and?
Yeah, I think we can. Brian, is that something the Economic Development Commission meets on, I don't know what day it is. I think it might be a Thursday, on September 23rd. Would you guys mind coming and just reviewing briefly what you've reviewed here with the commission?
Renee, explain why.
Yeah, I'll defer to Al. I'm happy to support that. The 24th is a Thursday, 23rd is a Wednesday. Do you know?
It's 23rd.
23rd? Okay.
It is,
Oh,
I know.
I don't know, Renee, I actually have the 24th.
Let me look. Sorry, so many meetings.
No, no problem. And
To
then
tell
I'll
you
let,
to the answer, we're happy to do whatever you'd like us to do. It's,
Yeah.
that's fine.
And we apologize a little bit. The EDC is just revitalized over the last 2 years. It was after our initial TIF. We're trying to create a flow process where TIFs start with the EDC and then go forward from there.
And that makes complete sense, right? So it makes, I think we do want to make sure that we can fulfill the next town meeting. So if that's to come to EDC next week, that's great. We can do that.
Okay, so we have meetings scheduled 23rd or 24th. If you can, I'd prefer the 23rd, but certainly whatever works best for you guys, we'll adjust.
how does that work for you?
Yeah, is it evening, day? Is it same time?
It's 7 p.m. and it's virtual as well, so I can get you the Zoom link for that.
7 p.m. Wednesday, the 23rd would work perfectly.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
And then Mike, when are they set to meet with FinCom?
Brian, do you remember what date
I think you gave us next Thursday.
No, it may be Wednesday.
Was it Wednesday as well?
Same date?
So
We're gonna be busy next Wednesday.
I'll talk to you, Brian, but we'll see if we can reschedule that so you don't have, just in case.
No, if they're with FinCom on the 23rd, Mike, we have another meeting on the 24th, so we can just adjust them.
Okay.
We have back to back, so if that's the case, I'm trying to find the, I thought I saw an email chain, but I'm trying to find where it was.
You mentioned
just for logistics of this, you want to wait for us to vote or anything and to move forward on this after EDC and after finance? Is that your hope?
I would actually like to see the TIF first before we vote as a board right now, just so we understand. I mean, I think the only one who's ever seen that is Brad, if I'm correct.
Are you looking for me to say, yes, I did?
Right,
we
right.
started
I mean, it was
at the
before
town
all of
meeting.
us, I think, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely was. But like I said, I couldn't quote it for you, but it would be beyond my understanding that by decreasing one thing and increasing the other, it's going to be a net,
Yeah.
Revenue
zero
investment.
change for the town.
I think, Brad, I agree with you. The revenue investment is much more important than the 25 jobs. I mean,
Right, especially where they're not really going to be, I doubt very much that many of them are going to be Norton residents anyways.
Agreed.
Okay, so it sounds like we will defer any vote on this pending evaluation by the EDC on 9/24 and FinCom on a date to be TBD. So I think
FinCom is the 23rd, Jack.
Yeah. Yep.
It's in our packet, sorry.
if it's got to respect that workflow and go through EDC first.
Mm,
Mike Units, are you going to move this to our agenda on the first two? I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, are you going to move this for our vote on the October 1st agenda?
I think that makes sense given what I'm hearing about the process workflow that you guys are trying to implement. And I think that still applies for town meeting. So I think that's okay. And I believe at this point, most of the questions would be answered. We've asked our questions tonight. EDC will ask theirs as well as FinCom. I think we can vote without the Elm Island folks needing to be present. If you'd like to tune in, that would be fine. But I don't think we need to make this another trip out.
Right in my office, it's fine. Walk from living room to the office. Happy to be here.
And just to clarify one thing, Mr. Chairman and board, are we suggesting that we should see the EDC before FinCom, so we should not do the 23rd next Wednesday, Mike, instead go to the next FinCom meeting?
I would do that. I would go the EDC first.
Yep.
And then to the FinCom.
Okay.
The following Monday.
Following Monday. Okay.
So why don't we then, if you guys already had the town booked for the 23rd, why don't we keep it the 23rd and we'll, instead of FinCom, you'll meet with EDC.
Great.
And I can send you the link.
Perfect. We
You haven't
appreciate
figured out yet, gentlemen. She runs a tight ship.
And then if you want to hang on another 5 minutes, I'm sure we can pick another couple more dates and let this be all that more confusing.
I see Pat Tarantino has her hand up in the chat.
Pat, you should be able to unmute and speak. There we go.
Go ahead, caller. Okay, apparently that was an inadvertent hand raise. So we will, any other further discussion on this, either amongst the public attendees or amongst the board?
No, just discussion, Jack, but Mike, if you can just send the initial TIF to me and I'll get that to the EDC, or if you want to send it to the select board and then I'll push it to the EDC from there.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Boyle, Mr. Sidens, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Moving on, update on the 123 sewer work schedule.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Tommy?
So the water and sewer department and the contractor, now that school is open, they're starting work in the mornings at 8:30 instead of 7 like they did before. And I know the school business manager did send an email to the water and sewer department after the first day of school, thanking them, saying that worked great. They do want to work, water and sewer and Matt and the police chief working on something for the afternoon to alleviate some of the traffic in the afternoon. So they're going to get together on that. The morning, they were happy that they waited till 8:30 to start, and they said that helped out greatly. There's about 700 feet of sewer main to go. So they anticipate probably another 2 weeks to do that. So sometime early October. And then they'll have to do the laterals. There's still some laterals to go, but the main sewer line is about 700 feet to go.
Is that 700 feet remaining of the roughly 3,500 that was needed leading up to the Springtown meeting?
Say that again, Jack. You broke up a little bit.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my computer.
That's all right.
As we were doing the run up to the annual town meeting, they had achieved 3,000 feet. They had 3,000 feet left to go. With about another 30 weeks was the estimated time. Are we down to just 700 now? Or is this just their target for the season and then they'll be back to do additional?
I think it's 700 to go. And then in the spring, they'll be paving. But they do have to do the laterals, which could involve down where the ledge was, some blasting and drilling.
Great.
And Mike, by the laterals, does that require that both sides are closed, or those are one at a time like they were when the...
One side at a time.
Okay.
Mike, did you journey down the questions of where we are with the budget? Is there a chance that we're going to see them again? Is there a chance that right now with the changes that they made and the obviously ledges and all that good stuff, does everything seem to be moving in the direction? I mean, I don't want to hold you an absolute here because I think that's possible, but do you get the sense that we're in financially in the right direction?
Right. I'll check with them on that and see where they are with that. Yep.
Because if I speak for, I'm not sure if the town could stomach another visit regarding this project.
So is the better question, are they on the October warrant?
Yeah, this topic was in the some of the meeting minutes that I had reviewed this week. So that was fresh of mind and brought me right back to that fun meeting.
Yeah.
Is that how you knew about the 3,000 feet?
That's exactly how I knew.
I'm like, man, does he have a good memory?
Hey, Mike, if you could keep just a close eye on that as kind of as the season's wrapping up, just kind of maybe sometimes, they give you the answer once, and then next thing you know, you didn't ask it again, right? If you can just kind of maybe stay on that as in your normal updates, I think we would appreciate that.
So, and Mike, just, and maybe for Michael and Meg's information, if I remember this correctly, shortly after the schools closed and we knew they were going to be closed for a while, we voted to allow them to do night work, or they came to us and letting us know that they didn't want to do night work anymore and they can move to the day since we didn't have the school traffic, correct?
Right, and the state wouldn't let them do blasting at night.
At night.
They could only do it during the day.
So, given past history, I take your 2 weeks as for the 700 feet to potentially mean 6 weeks. I really want to understand what that limit is, because if they can't solve the afternoon problem, like I read that email and kids getting home or the buses being delayed by 30 minutes, that's not acceptable. So, we have to think, or at least, communicate some sort of a time limit where either there's going to be a change in hours or they're going to stop until all the school traffic's gone, not just the buses, but the rest of the traffic. Especially with COVID, there are a lot of people who aren't taking the buses now. So, I want to be sensitive to the fact that 2 weeks can quickly turn into more. So I think we need to decide what's that limit, right, before they have to make a change.
Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're 6 weeks, you can't be on the ground. That's November 1. I mean, I could be wrong about that, right, Mike? This is cut off for working in the ground.
Correct.
And so we're good with potentially 6 weeks of delays.
I think that's the worst case scenario, right, Renee?
Well, I think that's why we need to set if they're not done by 2 weeks. So that's 2 weeks for the 700 feet. And then there's going to be more, right, to do the laterals?
Yes, they'll be doing laterals also.
So what I'd like to do is, our next meeting's in 2 weeks. If they're planning on getting together, and Mike, if we could put this on the agenda again to revisit it and
Yep.
see what Matt and the chief, or both chiefs, I can't remember if you said they were both going to be involved, see what they come up with. And if they haven't come up with something that is really meeting the needs of the community, then let's figure out at that time what stance we'd want to take.
Yep.
I get they have to do the blasting during the day, but there's a lot of changes now with the school. I don't think we need to have this added delay and uncertainty about getting through, morning or night or afternoon.
Were there any concerns about the blasting, Mike? Have you heard any complaints or anything today?
There was only, from the blasting, no. It was more the jackhammering from one renter in one of the apartments. That was it that I heard.
It's tough to be working at home while they're jackhammering outside your house.
So we just got a comment from someone who was on the school committee meeting. They said there was 800 feet of ledge left, so that's why they can't do the night work. And the school was estimating it would run until November. So I think they're the same mindset as Renee with that. More realistic.
I'll talk with the engineers on that and have that for your next meeting.
Wonderful.
Great.
Maybe they're going to get a forced afternoon break.
In your conversations, Mike, I think my personal experience going through there the past few days, having an officer directing traffic at the lights at the center of town would go a long way, because you have people that are trying to get down West Main, and it just gets backed up all the way, and then you're impeding traffic on the 140 side. So I think a little manual control there around, especially around those hours when people are trying to get out, would go a long way to relieving some stress there.
Okay. I don't know if anyone's driven through Easton Five Corners the last couple days. Don't do it.
Don't, yeah.
Don't do it. Don't.
I heard.
It made the center of Norton look like there was nothing going on.
All right.
I was amazed on 106 from the, or 123 from the Temple all the way to Five Corners stopped.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came through there this afternoon, well, around noontime.
Yeah, we should
And,
try to. Oh. Sorry, Brad.
No, it's just everything. It was backed up in all directions. Even when I got past corners and I was coming down, where 106 and 123 are the same road, it was the traffic I was passing they were heading towards the Five Corners from Norton's direction. It was almost backed up to the shopping center up there.
Hmm. We should let Jason know what time the backup is. They can get their truck out there and do some deliveries direct to the cars.
Yeah.
Anything else on sewer work? All right, Halloween and trick or treating. So Renee, I think this is something you had asked to get put on.
I did, because there's a lot of conversation now about what does Halloween look like this year? Do we have trick or treating? I didn't want us to, be behind the 8 ball with this, and thought that some discussion was valuable. I've heard different things about towns trying to coordinate deliveries of candy to kids. I think we have to be careful too with the current guidelines of 50 people who are outdoor. I think Sharon did a great job in both facilitating and communicating, the events going on around Halloween. But I don't know, like, what are the opinions? I mean, some towns have, I think a couple towns have already canceled trick-or-treating. I think some have offered some alternatives. I don't know if there's another situation where there's a good solution, but I thought it was worth discussion. There's a website out there too that kind of talks about different things that towns are doing. I didn't have an opportunity to look at it before the meeting. I don't know if anybody had seen that.
No, Renee, I think it's a good conversation piece. My first gut would be that I would tend to say give some advisories, some safety advisories, but not to really mess with it. In the areas when I've seen large areas such as like the K streets or something like that, those areas tend to attract more people because of the density of the houses. I don't see the more than the 5-6 people going, right? So now the question is are they wearing face masks? Are they, so on and so forth. But my first gut reaction would be us to give out safety guidance, but not to really mess with it.
And personally, I would feel the same way. I would leave it up to parents' judgment, but, give our opinion that, people should be careful if they are going to go out, and trying to stay out of large crowds. And I mean, I haven't heard, but I assume there will not be a Halloween parade this year, but
it's been canceled, actually.
Was it?
It was, yeah.
I believe I saw an announcement on that, yes.
Yeah, I think that was part of why they were doing the one item that you announced earlier, Brad, and I can't think of its title.
Scarecrow.
Yes, the Scarecrow.
Scarecrow.
Yep. And I think even on that, it was mentioned at the end, right, that no candy would be handed out?
Yes.
That was on the one down at the church on 140.
Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, I had a lot of fun in that last year, even though it was rainy and cold. And I thought this was our year for the board to dress up as, something.
Right.
Jackson 5 or...
Brad has already got me as a scarecrow in the middle of the common for a good 2 weeks, it sounds like.
There's no reason why we couldn't do a Halloween themed Zoom call. I'm down for getting dressed up.
Oh boy.
Halloween.
So Mike, let me ask you this. Have you spoken to Chris about this? Do you have any concerns yet, or?
I spoke with Chris today. His feelings are the same as yours. And he said that he would go check with the state for guidance, and that we can post and share with people about precautions to take.
Okay. Yeah, and I obviously I reserve the right to change my mind. If Chris comes back to us and says it should be canceled, I will be the first one to be like, cancel it. Just sort of, I just want to make sure I'm pretty much in line with him. Not that I even have a vote at that point, but.
I mean, and to your point, Michael, there might be direct guidance from the state, right? I mean, they might order some sort of a.
Charlie Bake is crazy, but he's not that crazy, I don't think.
Well, I mean, there's still a lot of risk, right? You still have people in bigger crowds. You have people going to doors. You have items being shared from one to another. You know, it's not, you think of like the grocery store, right? Like you wash your hands, you get home. I mean, it's tough. Like you have kids who are touching things or touching their face, like regardless of a mask. And then, potential people who want to hand out candy that may be at higher risk, right? Yeah. So it's just something we need to think about. And I mean, I like the idea of let's provide some guidance either way of being safe, especially if it's, saying something like put the candy out on your porch, just so that there's less contact and we keep people 6 feet apart.
Mike, who'd work on that guidance and typing that guidance up so we could get something out to the public electronically, post on the website or anything?
The Board of Health will get that. We'll work with him on getting it on the town website.
Okay. And I think as we get closer to Christmas, I think we should do what the rest of the town does, is really talk about banning the elf visit this year in Norton. I think we would get a lot of favor from parents about banning the elf from visiting homes. I think we would be doing the town of Norton a big favor with that. We can talk about that in December.
When does the elf visit home? I know Chip is only coming to my house.
Well, Chip, right? That's what I mean, right? I think we should ban Chip from visiting. I think we get a lot of parents' satisfaction on
that. I think just the opposite.
Fair enough.
There is some of us, no matter how old we get, don't get over 5 years old mentally, and we look forward to those visits.
Meg, any comments on Halloween trick-or-treating?
No, I mean, it's such a tough one. You don't want to take one more thing away, but I agree. We got to just follow what the state guidelines are, and this could be another thing that we just have to chalk up as not having this year. There's too many risks. I mean, can you imagine if all of a sudden everyone goes out trick-or-treating and then there's a big surge in COVID? I mean, then where are we? All this precaution. I don't know. So I obviously, I think just defer to the health.
You're right. I mean, now we're, think of the schools, right? If we hit a certain percentage, schools are going fully remote. So there's some consequences to that too.
And I gotta say, I love having my kids in school, so please don't take away those days.
I was gonna say the same thing. I'll give up trick-or-treating publicly.
I will too.
To keep them in school.
Maybe another day in school. Yeah.
So we'll wait and see. Let's, Mike, thanks for getting Chris on that. And I don't know, I mean, I know October 31st is gonna come upon us. Can we get him at the next meeting just to have some discussion?
Sure.
And then I think by that time too, we'll have some, we can see what some other areas are doing that are of similar size and just get a feel for it.
We'll also have 2 weeks of back to school under our belt. We'll see how the process is going. I agree. If our cases are going up, I think that changes the dynamic greatly. It's a plan of action. Super. Read Across America. We had Pat Tarantino on earlier. I don't know, Pat, if you're taking the conversation on this one, or Estelle is on as well.
I'll get them both on here. Let me just find Estelle. I don't see Estelle.
Yeah. He was on.
She should be there. Do you hear me?
We do hear you, Pat.
Okay, I know. I've been texting her, so she did say that everything was echoing on her end, so maybe she's not. But basically, we wanted to get in front of the town and the board. Thank you, Chairman. that the Wreaths Across America is going forward to this year. We'll have our second Wreath Day. It is officially Saturday, December 19th. I have been on several meetings with the organization. They have them for all the locations, and they're running a gamut from people who have drive-through wreath displays to appointments for some people. So I have calls out to the Board of Health and to the cemetery department to ask what the restrictions are for it. I do understand 50 people maximum is what the state says. We had about 150 to 200 people at the ceremony last year. So we might be okay by sending 50 to Timothy Plains, 50 to Center, 50 to the Common, but nothing is set yet. I just wanted to get out in front of the public to let them know that there will be wreaths on the veterans' graves. I do not know if there will be a ceremony. We may end up having it taped and recorded in segments and put together and put on Facebook for that Saturday at noon, so anybody who wants to see the program can see it. It totally depends on what our restrictions will be. And I'm trying to think. We upped our goal to 700 this year. And believe it or not, we only need about 100 more wreaths, just because of a fluke in the way things went last year and the cutoff date for the last amount that we could, the last day that we could send money in for the wreaths, the cutoff, we ended up getting money after that. And then they had this big sale going on for the month of January. So if you bought a wreath, you got a wreath free. So we ended up having a surge, which was awesome. If you have to have a lot of wreaths, this was the year to do it. So we need about 100 more wreaths. So my goal tonight is to let the town know that this last year was not a once and done deal. We are still going to do it. If you wish to sponsor a wreath, they can send a check to Estelle Flett, our veteran agent at the town hall. That is probably the easiest way to do it. Or they can also go to wreathsacrossamerica.org/MA0108. That's wreathsacrossamerica.org/MA0108. That way they can purchase wreaths using their credit card if they wish. But if they don't put that MA0108 on there, the funds that they purchase will go into the general fund, and we will have no idea who put money in and how to allocate those wreaths for us. I'm trying to think of
that last number on there.
MA for Massachusetts 0108. And if they forget that, they can go on the wreathsacrossamerica.org and there's a place where you can do a location search. So you could put Norton, Mass in there, and our number would come up, and you click on that and you bring us right into our site.
And Pat, how much are the wreaths? Is there a discount if you buy multiples?
The wreaths are $15 a piece. However, the program we're on, for every 2 wreaths, we get a free one. So in essence, they're $10 a piece.
And everything that we provide or that we get donations for over 700 goes to Bourne Cemetery. Is that correct?
Correct. Correct. Unless we change it this year, we might change that to say stash them for next year, just in case this COVID continues really hard. We have done no solicitation this year. I've not been to businesses without the parades and the fundraisers at the home plate, or the businesses that would sponsor us for fundraisers. We would have no way to have gotten as far as we have had that sale and that other money. Excuse me, we had a lawyer's office and another big company in town give us substantial checks that boosted us right over that. We would like to be able to come back to the board once we have more of the details so that we can tell people exactly what's going on. So we'll be able to say, if you want to volunteer, you have to call us, and we'll have 50 on this day, 50 on that day. We may end up putting wreaths 3 different days, so it's totally different this year.
Great.
Anybody have any questions? Or Estelle, I don't know if you're there. Or...
I think this is great, Pat. It's I took my girls to last year's event, and it was just a great day, very powerful. See the laying of the wreaths and to be part of walking around and placing them, and picked up trash as we went through. It was a great sense of community that day. It was a gray, dreary day until I think 11:59. And
yep.
The drizzle stopped, the sun came out. That was beautiful. Very, very.
We had, yeah, it was wonderful. I remember seeing you and your girls there. It was, all those veterans were watching over us to clear that weather for just that window of opportunity. And it probably about 2:30, it started drizzling again. It was perfect. But it goes on no matter what the weather is. The philosophy is that those veterans served in the rain, in the frigid cold, in the boiling heat. It didn't matter what the weather was. They were out there defending us and giving us the right to do what we can do today. So there is no canceling that day.
Pat, I put the link in our comments to anyone who's on this page, but I put the link to that page on there.
Thank you, Mr. Crew. Thank you very much. So as soon as we get some details, hopefully, I'm hoping November, because we want it fairly close on people's minds, or even maybe the beginning of December. I don't know which is the best time. What would you suggest? We would like to come back to give the details.
Sometime around November makes some good sense there.
Okay.
Excuse me. For donations.
Mr.
We can
Chairman,
use them. What, Mike?
Estelle is trying to get on. I don't know if you have to let her in, Renee, or if she has to unmute her phone, but
Is she the phone number?
yes.
Okay.
The last.
Let her in.
7462. If that's her, she just has to unmute and she can talk.
Okay.
Now, what was the goal? You probably said this, and you're being redundant. What was your goal this year for how many wreaths?
700, and we also have 7 ceremonial wreaths that we have to purchase. Those are for each branch of the service, which we purchased. But Estelle and I were speaking earlier, and we were thinking of getting 2 more wreaths, one for the Trent Memorial, and one for the Pine and East Main Street, where that cannon is.
Yep.
And have one there too. So
Where do all the branch wreaths go?
where do they go? They're we put them on the common after the ceremony. So they're on the common until the wreath day pickup, which is a month. They're on there. And they're for POWs, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, and the Merchant Marine.
Great.
You did a great job, Pat.
Thank you, Sal.
I am sorry.
It's okay. Did you
Did
want
I
to add
forget
anything,
anything?
Estelle?
What do you want to add? Yeah.
No, I just look forward to it. However, COVID dictates we conduct the ceremony, but I'm excited to do it for the second year, and hopefully we can split it up, so we can have gatherings at all 3 cemeteries to cover all the graves. hopefully we'll be able to continue it. It was our goal this year to do more teaching with the Reach Across America, but I think that's going to be very limited as well. But if we continue to do this going forward, I see great things happening for the future with it once COVID is behind us.
We also are hoping this year when we get the call from the truck as they deliver the wreaths to maybe get the police to escort them through town.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
The last year, they contacted me very, very last minute, and they were pretty much halfway down the street.
Right.
And they're like, where do we turn? So hopefully they'll time it better, or they'll give us a little lead time, more lead time, I should say.
Right. I'll put that on my list, Estelle, to ask Rachel, our liaison up there in Maine, to say, can they let us know like a day ahead so we can plan something a little more festive for them?
I think that was the original goal, but I think we're at the mercies of the drivers.
And they were, yeah, and they were brand new this year, these drivers that they had for us.
Yes.
So Estelle and Pat, is there anything additional that we can do during this year's ceremony in light of the new Purple Heart community status that we adopted? I don't know if this is purely a Reach Across America event. Try to recognize the folks who that's our
Purple Heart recipients. That's something we can certainly discuss.
Yeah, I can ask the Reese organization. I know they do, and I can't imagine them having problems with it. It's a good idea. I know they have a big thing on 9/11. They have a flag waving day that I totally missed. But no, we can ask.
Great. Any other questions for Estelle or Pat?
Okay.
Almost set.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
I am.
Thank you for posting that and for letting us bring it to your attention again.
Absolutely. Great job as always. Look forward to being there on the 19th.
Well, hope.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
No rain.
Great, thanks, guys.
Yeah, no
Hey,
rain.
Estelle, can I ask you a question? Estelle.
Oh, did she leave?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yep.
No worries. No worries. I can ask her.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Okay. Moving on. Discussion and/or vote to sign the lease agreement with Gator Great Woods LLC to lease Suite 3 at Great Woods Plaza for early voting for the presidential election.
Is Lucia on or?
She is. I'm trying to bring her in, but it's not. I have to promote her. It's not working the right way. Lucia, you're on. You might be muted though.
That picture makes her look like she's got a lot of space at her office.
So,
do you want me to talk to it?
Yeah, I mean, you were working with the folks.
Yeah. So obviously, we've had a lot of conversations as a group regarding the November election, and obviously, we typically would do this at school, at the town hall. The early voting would be done at the town hall, but because of COVID, that's kind of thrown a damper, and we're expecting a very large turnout. Oh, there she is. Hey, Lucia. Oh, there she goes. But we're expecting a large turnout. Speaking with Lucia, we try to identify a few areas. We checked out the Trinitarian Church. We checked out, Lucia checked out a couple other locations, the VFW post. And we talked about actually Great Woods, and we approached Great Woods, Gator Investments, who owns the Great Woods Marketplace, and asked them if they would donate some space. And Lucia was able to secure of about 5,000 square feet, or spot 3, which is over near the McDonald's side, the second spot in. And I know Lucia's has a plan to kind of set that up and open up the early voting from October 17th to, I believe, the 24th, I think. No, it's longer than that. I think it might be the 30th. The 17th through, I believe, the 30th. So people can vote, show up and do early voting. I know that she's worked with Mike on signage, and she's going to get a signage so they can hang it up there so people would know. And I think getting the lease signed is a good way and a good option here.
When I was in the office yesterday, I did read through the lease agreement. It was very standard, no red flags in my opinion. There's no cost the town would pay for any cleaning sub-metered utilities for the duration that we are there, and a pro rata share for anything that is not sub-metered at square footage. Very low cost solution for the town.
I think also just so I wanted to just thank the Gator Investment and Mr. Goldsmith for stepping up and volunteering this location, kind of solving a need for the town. They're actually trying to be an active partner and trying to work with the EDC as well to try to figure out ways to fill that spot. Some of their visions are a little aggressive, but I think I think beginning preliminary conversations and them volunteering the spot is a great benefit to the town.
Anyone have any questions on this? Questions on the lease, the philosophy of using that? Lucia's posting that she has no audio on her Zoom.
So my only question is, have we had someone from KP Law review the lease agreement?
We haven't. We can. It's pretty standard. I don't know if Mike, too, you've ever worked with leases before in your other life, but it is a pretty standard agreement. There's no restrictions on us in here. The insurances are fine.
Yeah, I've worked with leases before, and this was as vanilla as it got for a lease. I was expecting actually a lot more safety clauses on their end, and that really wasn't there. How does Peter remember all this stuff?
He's sharp as a tack. It's amazing.
One of the things that just for the order of it, I think we should vote as a group. But there really is on the lease only one spot for a signer. I would be in favor of having Jack sign for the group if nobody else has a problem with that.
Michael, we've in the past just signed below that.
Yeah, I was at the town hall when Michael was there. The lease itself is really set up for one signature, and we could easily make the motion just to authorize the chairman to sign.
Okay. Chair would entertain a motion to authorize me to sign the.
I can make the motion, Jack. Motion to approve the sign. Let me do it.
Yeah, go for it.
Motion to approve the signing of the lease agreement with Gator Investments for lease for Suite 3 at the Great Woods Plaza for early voting for the presidential election, and have the chairman of the select board sign, please.
Second.
Right. A motion and a second. Meg.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Renee.
Yes, but contingent on KP Law review. None of us are attorneys. I think they need to look at it if the town's going to enter into an engagement.
Okay. Should be fine. Mike, can you make that happen?
Yeah.
And I vote yes with that amendment. And is all set. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Lucia. Very
It
cool.
was all Lucia and her team, and so.
I will get down there tomorrow. Well, Mike, let me know when Lawrence had a chance to review it, and that's fine. Thanks, everybody. Anything else for old business or for new business, Mike?
Nope.
Okay. Reviewing list of fall town meeting articles. That time of year again.
So you should have in your packet the list of all the articles. And Mr. Chairman, if you and I could work at some point to try and figure out how we schedule these into your meetings, we can decide which articles you think you can fit in and what meetings you're going to need to schedule in order to get them all done.
Okay.
Hey, Mike, you would provide us a list that was time-stamped on August 20th. Do you know the changes from that time?
The only change, the Water Pollution Abatement Trust administration costs are not on the warrant anymore. They don't need any, so they pulled that.
Okay. And then from a timing perspective, the warrant is closed, correct?
Correct.
And what's the last day for us to be able to remove articles from the warrant?
You can remove articles until the warrant goes out. So you figure the 17th, I don't have a calendar in front of me, 14 days before that, or is it 7 for the special? Let's see. Looking.
Okay.
Sounds like we should anticipate being prepared to remove any articles at our 10-1 meeting. That's the way the dates are going to work out.
That's plenty of time.
What is the date of this meeting? Only because I don't have it on this particular warrant.
What is what?
What's the date of the town meeting, the fall town meeting?
Saturday,
17th.
October 17th.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wasn't sure. I'm just going to write it on my list here.
All right. So, Mike,
Has there been any guidance, any update on the guidance regarding the budget from the state at all? I know that they're probably not going to touch it till October, but I know they said flat funding too, but is that additional guidance?
You broke up there, but I think you said any guidance on the budget at all?
Yeah, that's right.
As I was going on tonight, I think I saw that the state finally released the cherry sheet. So I know the town accountant, myself, and the superintendent and school business manager plan on meeting on Monday. So we'll review everything then. And now that we have the cherry sheet, we'll have a better idea. And the finance team, we met on Tuesday to go over revenues, and we're looking at where the revenues are now, see how they're trending and what we might have to adjust.
Did it look like, just top level, did it look like it flat funding like they said, or did it look like it was not? Or did you have a chance to even get that close to it?
We haven't yet.
Okay.
all right. So, Mike, do we want to walk through these now, or are we going in detail at a later point?
We can go whatever you want. If you have just questions on any of them right now, or if you want to schedule them for a meeting and go through them in detail.
Are there any other articles other than the one that I'm seeing crossed off on the summary sheet that we know are going to come off?
Just that one for now.
Okay.
Unpaid bills right now. I don't know if we have any unpaid bills. I don't think we do, so that may come off.
Hey, Mike, can we talk about Article 21?
Yep,
That's the one on the boat water body access master plan.
yep.
Now that looking at this, is this new? Let me see. So under this article, the underlined text is being inserted, the other text is being deleted, and the rest is as is, correct? Like this includes the entire existing bylaw?
Yeah, the main, let me go to it. The main thing with this, when we met on site down at Juniper Beach, the police department had said that we needed to set hours similar on town property, similar to other parks in town, so that they could enforce it. And so that's what was put in here. Which section are you look? That's 2414. Is that where you are?
I went there as you were well, I see 24.5 talks about nighttime operation, and the hours are so it's in respect to watercraft, right? Operating at a speed greater than headway speed from the hours of dusk to dawn. And then it has enforcement listed from, I imagine they can't do it from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., but I know we've had some complaints about that being incredibly late and incredibly early.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess where did we get the 10 to 5?
That was when we met out at Juniper Beach. Those were the hours that we came up with. And we wanted to put hours in there rather than say dawn to dusk, because it fluctuates too much. So they wanted to have set hours.
And so the residents were fine with 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.?
There was one resident that was with us, yeah.
Okay, and then just so I'm reading this correctly, it's not banning anyone from being on the water overnight. It's just saying you can't go faster than 6 miles per hour.
Correct.
So I thought that we talked about in one of our meetings, right, installing a gate so that there weren't people there at night.
Well,
and there wasn't parking
That means
going
they
on.
just parked at Juniper. They could be on the water.
Right, people that live there could be out on their own boats.
I mean,
Okay.
there's boats on that water at night all the time.
Well, that doesn't mean they're supposed to be there. That's my question. But that makes sense if we were to close down that particular beach area. Is that something that needs to be in this bylaw, or is that something that can happen separately?
That is addressed on 2414.
Okay.
Mike, I haven't gone through this yet, but have they addressed anything on water access at the place in the Parks and Rec house over on 140? Have they addressed it? I'm halfway done reading it.
That's the property that when you signed the agreement with the state to put a boat access area, that's where it'll go.
That's where we'll go. Okay, that's what I thought. I was hoping that's what it was, but okay. Perfect.
Mike, can I ask what PWC stands for? It's in 24.6.
Power watercraft.
Power watercraft. Is that defined
Isn't it
anywhere?
personal watercraft?
Personal watercraft.
Personal watercraft, yeah.
Okay. It's defined up. I see it. It's defined under definitions.
So you know, Renee, I have been on the water at night there. It's nice.
He was walking.
That's a good one.
And we'll be changing Board of Selectmen to Selectboard throughout also.
Okay.
Mike, there's one, and it may not fall within this. Who's responsible for testing that water once a year to kind of give a report on the status of that water? It's come up a lot lately on social media points that the water's unsafe and so forth.
I'll check with ESS, our consultant, because we've been treating the water for the last few years. So every year they do an after action report, and I'll see
Can you see if that's a publicly shared document that we might be able to post somewhere? I've swam in the reservoir, so, and I've done it for the last 4 years. That probably might explain some things, but
I'll check with them because
I think it's great.
I don't know whether they check the quality or just the effect of the treatment. So I'll
Yeah,
find out.
if you could, I think it's important that at least once a year we're testing that water and getting the public knowledge, getting the information out to the public.
Is that a conflict of interest since you're swimming in it?
You're not going to stop me, Renee.
I fell into it once.
I think it's the gem of Norton. I love the reservoir.
I think it's the gem too, but I fell into it once and my foot went into that muck.
Oh, I didn't say it wasn't muck.
All right. Any other specific questions on the warrant articles at this time?
I don't know if Jen's on yet. Jen Carlino.
I saw her on earlier.
I don't know if she's even prepared to talk about this. I know she would come to another meeting to talk about it.
I know. I see Norton Conservation Commission.
Seems like a good start.
Okay, let's allow them to talk. I'm not sure who's on the other end of the salamander.
Yeah, that's me. That's
Okay,
Jennifer.
Jen, Mr. Chairman, okay to
Oh, please go right ahead.
through you. Don't want to put you on the spot, but we were talking about the bylaw change.
Yes. I was listening.
Okay. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
No, most of the requested changes came from residents, and so, we just made the proposed changes. It's mostly residents asking to be more specific on the time and to designate certain areas where people can put their boats in, and that goes in with the other article about creating a master plan to designate certain town properties as boat launch areas, and then we would need to make sure we have the property lines surveyed and the title search done to know, some areas have beach rights and other access, and we need to make sure if we are assigning or allowing parking and uniform signage in boat designated areas, that everything is legal and it's on town property and not on somebody else's.
And I see that the article doesn't have a projected amount in it yet. Do we have like a ballpark of what we think that might cost for the master plan?
Oh, we do. We got it yesterday. If you give me, I
article-
don't have that file out, so if you hold on 1 second, I'll find it.
So this is Article 20.
So we asked the Regional Planning Agency, Sept, to come up with an estimate for us, and I can give you a copy of that. But the estimate for a number of tasks was $19,610. I've written a grant for $10,000, and I should hear next week. And Sept also suggested that we use 40 hours of the municipal assistance, and that would also drop the cost by $3,500. So then the total would end up being less. But I can certainly get you a copy of that estimate and the budget. I didn't think we were talking about that tonight.
Oh no, that's fine. I just happened to see it said sum of and not an actual dollar amount.
Yes. No, I just got that recently.
Okay. And Mike, remind me, the Serpent hours, is it 80 total and then it's separated 40 and 40, or is it a total of 40 that we get a year for the town?
I think it's a total of 40.
I think you have 2 Serpent representatives and they each get 40 hours.
Okay. Can we just follow up on that? And I only asked because we had the opportunity to use some of those hours for the EDC to help with the marijuana overlay. So they did significant work for us on the maps specifically. I would just want to make sure, you know, if we have other projects that we're anticipating in town, that we don't use up hours that were otherwise allotted.
Yeah, we'll check and see what their timeline is of those hours. I don't know whether they go by the federal year or our year.
Okay. Thank you, Jen.
Sure.
Thank you, Mike.
Any other warrant questions? Mike, maybe we can chat tomorrow and.
Sure.
That's it for meeting articles. Special town meeting, which is currently been deferred to Saturday, September 26th at 9 a.m. as part of the continuance due to the hurricane-related rainfall on August 26th, thereabouts. So the 30 days was the maximum that the town moderator was able to defer the day of the event. It can be deferred again to a special town meeting. We could hold it on the 26th. I think if we need to do a new special, we need to open it, Mike, or can we just set the date for the 17th with Walter on the 26th?
Set the date for the 17th, and it's just the continued special, and I'll let Walter know.
Okay.
And all that has to be done on the 26th or before the 26th? What's the guidelines?
I'll have to check with Lauren on that. I would think he can do it at any time, but I'll double check with Lauren.
Okay. And there is sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
I was gonna say, do we need to vote on that to recommend to Walter to move it to the 17th?
I would.
Right, Renee, what was your question? Sorry.
A question came through about regarding the special town meeting warrants on September 26th from Paula Foss and Bill Farrow. And I think, let's see if either are on. I don't see either of them on, but I'm not sure what exactly the question was. Oh, hold on, there's somebody who's asking to talk. Oh, never mind, hand went down. We'll just see if somebody raises their hand or.
Yeah, I'm wondering if admin is Paula.
Oh, it says trying to talk. Hold on. Yep. Let me, I'm going to promote 1 second. Okay, you should be able to unmute yourself. That's Paula or Bill. There we go.
There we go. Thank you so much. So just, we've been listening pretty much all night. The special town meeting, there is a special town meeting on the 26th. Is that correct? Or are they deferring that?
I believe the intent is to hold that the same day as the planned fall town meeting on October 17th.
Okay, so is the September 26th canceled?
Deferred. It'll get rescheduled to the 17th.
Okay, great. Alrighty. We had some concerns, and I'll just run them by you now, and appreciate the extra time on the 17th. We've had trouble getting in touch with neighbors with COVID and all that's going on, school openings, health, finances, the election voting. We find that a lot of the residents are distracted regarding this particular proposal, the Norton Village Center Core. So we're trying to discuss, this with neighbors. And so we're just saying we're having a hard time, mainly because of the social distancing. I'm hoping there'll be enough input for residents. They seem to have some confusion as well as we do. Initially, the proposal, I think with residents was, one of the concerns was traffic. And so I'm just curious, is there, or should there be a traffic study and solution as part of this Norton Village Center Core? I think they go hand in hand. I think that passing the Norton Village Center Core is premature unless we have a lot of input about traffic. We've been listening to articles about the Zoom meetings about the 100 units and then the 60 units on Mansfield Ave. That will add a lot of traffic to downtown. And then there's a proposed amount of apartments for the center of town, which I have asked the question, what would the range be, and not gotten an answer on that. But there's going to be quite a bit of traffic, additional traffic to the center of town. And initially residents raised that question as being number one concern. Is there anything going on with a traffic study and solution for that? And I think that it's important in order to vote clearly about having the facts for the center core to understand about the traffic impact. Can you folks speak to that, please?
Mike, you're probably best positioned. I looked, I didn't see Paul on. I remember some of this from the public hearing, but.
Yeah, I think your best bet would be to call Paul at 508-285-0279. Paul is the town planner.
Yes.
And he could go over everything to do with the village center with you.
Alrighty.
I think they did do a. I think that part of it at the time was with the peer review of Cumberland Farms. I think that they did do a traffic study that looked at that entire range within that area.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm going to surrender to Paul as well.
Alrighty, so any other questions that I have, because there's some concerns, the confusion about, there's pictures of what the center may look like, and yet the zoning does not back up that. The zoning is much more aggressive than pictures that they're showing. So is that, again, something I should bring up with Paul?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he'd be
best person.
Very knowledgeable about it and be glad to help you.
And if residents are confused and want more time on this, is there the ability for the panel here to table this till, say, spring?
So there are some ramifications with that because this has been continued from our April town meeting.
Yes. Yeah.
What I would encourage you to talk to Paul, and I know that we have Bill's email address. I can also send you guys, just so not for you specifically to watch it, but to help to get some information out from the public hearings. Paul's done several presentations on this, and I think that might help. At least, if it's difficult for you to reach out to your neighbors in person, maybe you can email them with the link just so they can feel more comfortable and then come with you with questions that you can talk to with Paul. But I'm sure that he'd be more than happy to schedule a meeting to talk through your concerns.
Okay, that sounds great. And so you have our email there, so you'll email that link to us.
I will. Yep.
Mr. Chairman, could you just ask the speaker to just identify themselves again? I apologize.
Yes, this is Bill Farrow and Paula Foss of 16 Mansfield Avenue.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Yes, thanks for your time.
And Mr. Chairman, just through you to them, I think if they go on to the planning department's website, they'll probably find information from all those meetings that were held and give them some renderings of what the buildings would look like, what they'd like the buildings to look like.
Yes, we've actually viewed all that, and I think it's probably best to, it's just really the residents that I do speak to are just so distracted and busy that, as we talk about it, I'm encouraging them to go back and also look at those presentations. So, it's just that the reality is it's even hard to get in touch with people often because they're so busy with things. So appreciate your comments, and I will talk directly to Paul and advise the rest of the group to maybe have a meeting with Paul.
Thank you for bringing up your concerns. Hopefully, I do trust Paul to be able to get you the answers to the questions that you have.
Okay, I hope so too.
All right.
Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
We good? So I think we said we would vote. Chair would entertain a motion to recommend the further deferral of the special town meeting from September 26th to October 17th.
And at 1:30, because the town meeting will start at 1 and then we can move into the special at 1:30.
Is there a
So
minimum
moved.
time that needs to happen for that? Could it be 1:05 so that we can get these ones done rather than be mid-debate on something?
Sure, no, that's no problem.
All right.
Mike, can I ask too, should we vote in the same rain date?
Yes. Yep.
Anybody remember what that is?
I knew you didn't know.
I have it written somewhere, but I only have my notes for tonight's meeting.
Let me take another run at this. So
Rain date is the 24th.
the chair would entertain a motion to recommend to the town moderator to further defer the September 26th special town meeting to October 17th at 1:05 p.m. with a rain date of Saturday, October 24th at 1:05 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Meg. Mike.
Yes.
Brad.
Yep.
Renee.
Yes.
I too vote yes. All right. So, Mike, can you get word to Walter that that is our plan of action? And I know Ray Cord was trying to rally the troops for the 26th, so we can let him know that that's not going to be needed.
Okay, I'll let him know.
And should there be any additional? I know we're going to post it on the website and all those fun stuff. Because we've moved the date so much, is there anything else extra we should be doing within Norton notifications or anything like that?
Is there any way you go, I've noticed like in Mansfield, they always put on the electric signs that we have out for the construction, that they could put a notice on just saying that it's moved?
It's a Keith question, right?
I mean, they could do it in off hours when they're not doing the construction or whatever, but it's there, so. it should be the same.
And we could do an alert also.
I'd say put it on during daytime hours, because when you're sitting there in traffic.
Nothing else to do.
Yeah, right. And then maybe, Mike, we can ask the school committee as well to put it on their sign in front of, or at the entrance of the high school.
Yeah.
Mike, whatever happened to the? I know it came down with that tree storm. The pole that we used to hang banners from the fire station and so forth. Or was that ever? Is it kind of the casualty of the tree falling on it?
The traffic light across the street.
Was it a traffic light? I thought it was. I thought that was the post that we used to hang the sign on.
Yeah, I'll have to check with Keith on that. No, that was previous. That was from a car accident, and he was waiting for, the contractor was waiting for the insurance company to come out and look at it. So I'll talk to Keith and see where they are at that. Bartlett was handling that for him.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Excellent. Moving on, town manager's report. Update on Blue Star Business Park.
Okay, just an update on the Blue Star Business Park. Leonard Street, the work has been done and the striping was done on the street today. All the sewer work is done, the sewer line, the pump station. They're working now at the intersection of Leonard and East Main, doing some widening there, installing the sidewalks. And then they're coordinating with Mass Highway on that new right-hand turn lane that will be coming in there to get that done. They've ordered the traffic signal that will go up, and they expect that to be up by the end of this year.
Woohoo!
As far as building construction, the first building that is right by the road, right by East Main Street, Building 4, that should be complete within 45 to 60, 45 to 60 days to complete the shell, the core shell of that building. Building 5, which is the next building down on Leonard Street, receiving their occupancy permit, the certificate of occupancy this week. And Wayfair has started moving some of their stuff into the building and should be in operation there next week. And then they're in the final design stages for building 7, which is across the street, across Leonard Street on the other side from building 5. And they're still in the design stages for buildings 1 and 2 out front, which would be the retail. But as I said, Wayfair next week, full operation. And that's it.
Have you, has Jeff or anyone reached out to Wayfair, just to kind of a welcome committee or anything? Or obviously it's a big company. They're taking up half of one of those buildings.
Half of building 5.
Yeah. Yes. Do you know if, have you had a chance to reach out to them, or has Jeff had a chance to reach out to them to kind of connect you two at all?
I'll check with them, see if they're gonna do any ribbon cutting or type ceremony.
Or a tour. I'd like to see a tour. That's
Okay.
a pretty big building, if
See if
possible.
there's any furniture that you're interested in.
Well, I was going to ask, did we work out any sort of an agreement that Norton residents get free shipping? Or could we just go and pick it up?
If it was a plumbing supply house, Renee would be like, yeah, good luck to you.
No. I need a couple new toilets.
They're also working on phase 2. They've started their permitting with conservation and working on a subdivision with the planning board on that. So, still moving forward. And Jeff says that there is a lot of interest. He has had a lot of inquiries, nothing else, after Wayfair, nothing else definitive yet as far as tenants, but he says he is getting a lot of inquiries.
Great.
Jack, if I may. Mike, did we hear anything back? I know the Economic Development Commission was asked to send that letter of interest to the one company.
Right.
Did we hear anything back from them?
No. Once again,
it's off the market, right?
No, twice we've had pharmaceutical companies that have been interested in a piece of a vacant building on South Washington, and at the last minute it gets pulled off the market. I don't know why, but it happened again. So
was it for the same property?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Mike, this is kind of a little bit off subject, but have you been in touch with Bernie and Phil's lately? I know there's some concerns on their part regarding some expansion that they wanted to do, and that's been going on for a couple of years. Out of the blue, I got asked the question on it, and I said I investigate it. Do you know if anything's? Are you familiar with what they're working on, or they?
I know they're working on an addition.
Yeah.
And I know they filed with conservation. I'm not sure what the status is.
Okay. All right, I'll follow up with Jen then. But they sounded very, very frustrated that they're in a kind of one of these endless loops. But I'll surrender to the specialists.
Thank you, Mike, for that update.
No problem.
That's great. Anything else from Mike? Or was that it?
That's it.
Okay. Select board's report and mail. So Meg, this is sort of a free form part of the meeting where if anyone has reached out to you, if had any questions, if you have any questions, it's sort of a free time to ask anything, say anything that's come up.
I'm sure you've gotten a lot of emails from community members in your 5 days of being a
I
select
told
board
you
member.
my phone died, so I literally was like offline for the last 3 days. So I'm just coming around here. So I swear next meeting I will have a lot to say.
Michael, anything in your world?
No, not too much. I think we kind of talked a lot about it during the meeting.
Brad, anything?
All set, thank you.
Renee?
I have a couple things, Jack. Thank you. The first thing I wanted to say is, for those who may or may not be involved with the schools, I just wanted to give a shout out because they have done an incredible job, both the school system, NPS, the teachers, the staff, as well as the school committee. A lot of things have changed, and with social distancing, things are taking longer than before. And I can just say, yesterday, with it being the first day back for cohort 2, I was part of that, and they did a wonderful job. Dr. Bayetta and some of his staff members were actually at LGN, which I think is the first school to open, and they were helping to get specifically the younger kids, the kindergartners coming to school for the first time, helping to get them in the building since the parents couldn't get out of the car. So they've done an exceptional job. I had Spencer came home at the end of the day. I asked him how his day was, and he sat down on the floor, took off his socks, and put his feet and his hands up, and he said 20 thumbs up. And it was exceptional. So the kids are incredibly happy to be back. I know there's still some bumps with the remote learning. We did that today. It actually went really well. So I just want to give a big shout out to them because they had a tremendous task in front of them, and I think that they handled it with grace and dignity, and certainly instilled confidence throughout the town. So hopefully, people will continue to follow and respect the guidance from the state, keep their masks on, wash their hands, be socially distant, so we don't have any further spread throughout the community. The second thing that I want to mention, Mike, there was the telephone poles on Plain Street in South Washington, I think, have been replaced, and there was one of the newer lights that was laying at the corner of Plain and South Washington for a while, and it's gone, and it hasn't been put back up. And I was just wondering if you knew a status only.
Keith didn't want to leave it there, so he took it down to the highway garage and put a call into the company to come and have him put it on the new pole.
Okay, that'd be great. I'm just concerned with that. I mean, right now we have some time before the time change, but there's kids gather there in the morning. It's a bus stop. Typically, I think around 7:15 or 7:30. So just
yeah, it shouldn't be that long. It shouldn't be that long.
Okay, great. And then the other thing too is I had a person ask me, and I couldn't for the life of me remember, but the red X's on the trees and the work that's being done at the corner of 123 and North and South Washington streets. Can you just give a quick timeline on that?
So those will be trees that are coming down.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, that's what they're doing first is the tree work and the telephone pole relocations, and relocating any walls that have to be relocated.
Okay. And then is that expected, to move the streets? Is that expected to be done before the winter time?
No,
Okay.
I don't think they'll open it up.
Okay,
I will check on their current schedule and get back to you where they're at.
all right, that'd be great. Thank you. That was it, Jack. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you. Very well said for the schools. While you were saying that, my little one was here saying very similar things, that JCS is the best and how good and she got in trouble and got dragged away. So
Yeah,
Right.
because LGN's the best. Is that
That's what I was going to say, Renee. I mean, it's really not a conjecture point, I thought.
you can take it up with my 7-year-olds.
No. I'll put my 6-year-old on it.
I think the only thing that I had a resident reach out regarding their desire for a skate park in town. There's apparently quite a few folks that are interested in this, talking about forming a community group to do some fundraising, but they're curious how to make this work with the town. I don't know if this is a Paul question, if this is something that we can do, if there's available land that could be donated. I have a lot of questions about legally how that would work in terms of insurance and liability, but I know other towns have done that. I know we have a lot of other things going on right now, but this is something that we can put on Paul's plate to kind of pursue a little bit in time. Town does not have a lot of activities for younger kids. I think this would be a nice community amenity if we're able to.
If you could send an email with some ideas on what you're looking at.
Okay.
Hey, Mike, can I ask to that point? I remember when you were showing me some areas in town, I think we talked about the spot on Bay Road that used to be a fire station that's just like a vacant lot, it's land that we own, right?
We do.
Is that something that could potentially be looked at to like serve, different, something other than a vacant lot in the community?
Yep, it's not that big, so something small. Yeah.
Because it's kind of an odd spot. I mean, I wouldn't see really anything else going there.
Right.
Okay. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
There's not really enough room there for more than a parking lot almost. If you were to put anything there to attract people. So
Jack,
no,
Jack, I did thing. The standing board at the Trinitarian Church in the center of town wanted to extend. They've got a lot of space. They're evaluating their space, and they wanted to offer it to the town or any community groups in town if anyone's looking for space to rent or use, to contact and reach out to the Trinitarian Church. That's the one right across from Wheaton on the right next to the fire station. I know they've got a big common area downstairs in the basement, as well as several different classrooms. But I know that obviously some of these groups have been hit with COVID, and that they're looking for creative ways to really help the community as well as possibly raise some funds.
Good. Right. Thank you. No more news. Go to warrants and minutes. I've approved payroll warrant PR 2106 for the week ended September 5, 2020. Warrant dated September 10, 2020 in the amount of $1,467,468.06. Invoice warrant AP 21-10 dated September 3, 2020 in the amount of $121,124.63. Invoice warrant AP 2111 dated September 10, 2020 in the amount of $461,229.54. And invoice warrant AP 21-12 dated September 17, 2020 in the amount of $1,023,001.25. The biggest share of that one was about $649,000 that went to the sewer project. Everything else is
So Jack, are they ever going to let you sign one of these checks, not just the warrant paper? Are they ever going to just let you sign one of the checks or no?
I don't think so. You see my signature, it's not worth it. All right. And excitingly, it's time to approve minutes. When last we broached this topic, we agreed to split the share and clean up all of the outstanding minutes up until August 6th, 2020. So
I would like to thank Jen for reminding me that I took 3 minutes, responsibility for 3 minutes. I had no idea.
Very good.
So Jack, I'd like to move that we approve as amended minutes from May 14th, 2020 and June 11th, 2020.
Okay.
And that's the open session, not the executive.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right. Meg? Yep. Michael?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Renee?
Yes.
I too vote yes. So I would move that we approve the minutes from June 11th, 2020 executive session, June 16, 2020 open session, June 16, 2020 executive session, and June 25th, 2020 open session.
What was the first one, Jack?
June 11 executive session.
Okay. And I don't think you can move as the chair. Can he move as the chair?
Entertain a motion.
Can.
Okay.
So moved.
I'll move it then. And
There we go.
if somebody's moved it, I'll second it.
All right. You guys always have my back. That's helpful. All right. Meg?
Yeah.
Michael?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Renee?
Yes.
I too vote yes.
I would like to make a motion to approve July 9th open session, July 9th executive session, and July 23rd open session minutes as written.
Second.
Okay. Meg,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Renee,
Yep. Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
and two vote yes. We'll go with March 16th. I know that was one that was getting open heart surgery for a while.
It is, yeah. So I think Jen's following up with the last couple people, and then she'll fill in the gaps, and I'll fill in the remaining gaps if
Okay.
anything's left. So we should have that, Jen, unless you think otherwise, at the next meeting.
I think we can do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Renee, I'm not going to lie. I read the minutes, and because I was responsible for these, I definitely spent extra time reviewing because I was so afraid that on my minutes that I wouldn't meet the standards of your review.
So are you telling me I should review them?
No, do not do that.
So for next meeting, we'll have the 16th. If we can clear up August as well. If you want to take one of those, that would be great. We have August 6th, August 20th open, August 20th exec, and August 27th.
I'll do August 27th.
I'll do the 6th.
Hey, Jen, remember that I said August 27th? So on the August 26th, can you just, on the day before the meeting, you can tell me that I guaranteed August 27th?
I'm all over it.
And I will do August 20th open and exec session.
So Brad, are you up for the 10th?
Like I don't have a problem doing any of them. I have read them. So yeah, no, I'd be glad to.
Okay.
Actually, I think September 10th is the only one I haven't finished reading.
Oh, I was
So,
going to
yeah,
say,
I'll
are you
take-
ready to do that one?
All right.
No, I've read half of it, but I'll definitely take care of that.
All right. So we have Renee with August 6th, myself with both August 20th, Michael with the 27th, and Brad for the 10th. Excellent.
Yep.
I like
And then
this.
I'd like to nominate Meg for the next 2 months.
I was going to say, Meg, you can run, but you can't hide.
Okay. Thank you for that. As discussed earlier, our next meeting is planned for October 1st. I don't know how the board feels, perhaps going back to try a regular Zoom meeting as opposed to the webinar. Just feels like the interface has been a bit clunky to try to get people on and off. Maybe we go back to the standard one. If Renee and I can be made co-hosts and have the ability to do the muting, I think we'll be in good shape there. And that way we can see more of the participants as they go through. Everyone feel okay with that?
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I've had a problem signing on the 2 times we've done it this way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just because we get a different link. Jack, the only thing though is I don't see options for us to mute. Oh, maybe it's just because of platform we're on.
Yeah, I don't have host capabilities right now, so but I think we'll figure that out.
Yeah. I mean, we should, if we're made host, there should be no problems.
So Jack, just so you know, the license agreement for the lease has to be bumped out a few days for setup. I'll get you the dates and I'll get the approval from Gator just to change the dates and initial it after, obviously, the lawyer revisits it. Okay.
That sounds good. Let me see. Any other business to come before the board, either with our members or anybody in the chat? Seeing none, we do have an executive session scheduled for this evening. So let me pull up the language there. Moment.
I can do the motion. I have it up as well.
Okay.
Making a clerk's job easy, Renee.
There we go.
Making a clerk's job easy.
I don't know. I remember Flaherty doing these before, so I don't ever.
Dealing with the police, and Brad couldn't do it. He had to recuse himself. So I have
No, he would read like the things in. The only thing I remember the clerk were the announcements.
And I dropped the ball on that, thanks.
No, you didn't. You and Brad tag teamed.
All right, seeing as how it's 9 o'clock, I declare under General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, A3, and Section 21A, A6, that the purpose of the executive session will be to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining and to consider the purchase of real property, because a discussion of the strategy in open session could compromise the purpose of the executive session, and with the board to not return to open session at the conclusion of the executive session.
And I move that the board go into executive session under General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3 and 21A6. I think this is a typo. Let me repeat that. Section 21A3 and Section 21A6 for the purposes and reasons declared by the chair, and with the board to not return to open session thereafter.
This requires a roll call. Okay, Meg?
Yeah.
Michael?
Yep.
Brad?
Yes.
Renee?
Yes.
I too vote yes. So to the members of the public who will not be joining us on the other side, thank you very much for your time and your interest for tonight. So we do have the Permanent Building Committee members, of which I see a few of them here that will be joining. That is Ina and Bob, I think, at this point.
Jack, do we have another Zoom session?
I don't believe I saw a separate agenda with a separate Zoom link.
Do you want me to set up one? I mean, I got a Zoom account. Do you want one or no?
No, I don't think we can. Can we? I mean, I think we just move people. You just got to tell me who is staying on.
I think Conservation can go. I think Beth can go. I think it's just Bob Briscoe and Dinah.
Okay.
Conservation is going to stay on.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's close. Okay. So have we officially voted? I'm good to go to move people.
Yep.
Okay. Give me
Can
one
we get
second.
Jen a better? Can we get Jen a better picture of like a turtle or something besides the whatever spotted
That
lizard?
salamander is awesome.
It's horrible.
Okay, so I have Bob, I have Dinah, not the Fuller A. I'm not sure who that is. Oh, they're gone. Norton Media Center.
Can you stop the recording? Or does Charlene have to do that?
I can do it.